We are ready, my good sir. All right. Part 2 begins
Well-
now. Go.
So the room's cleared up. I'm going to give Restore Vision to the folks who have it. That's an exciting place to start back up. I need initiative rolls for everyone, please.
Natural 20.
The opposite. I have a 5.
Okay, Diantalis has 5. And with your natural 20, do you have any modifiers for that, bro?
1, so 21 total.
21. Okay.
Better than a 3.
Okay. So I'm also need to know your HP totals, please.
I'm at 24.
30 of 50.
5.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off, Varel.
60-30 has sight. You, Nash, you have your light stone, so you're 40-20. Okay. And this light. This torch should now all be visible. So I think I've got everything set up good.
Cool.
All right. Bok was near you.
Oh, and then sorry, my initiative was 5, and then my HP is 1.
Okay, so Jolt is 1. Sorry, can I re-get the HP totals for Diantalis and Varel?
24 for Diantalis.
Varel?
65.
Okay. So you're participating in this hope. And Nash, do you want an initiative roll or no?
I did. It was 3.
3 for Nash. Sorry, and how much was it for you, Varel?
21.
Excuse me, I meant hope when I said Varel. I meant to say hope.
Oh, I'm sorry, my initiative?
Yeah.
5.
Okay. Perfect. So can I get Hope and Diantalis to re-roll between you two?
With the modifier or without?
With the modifier.
I got a 5 again.
A 6.
Okay. Wow. You guys really just want to be close. All right.
I'm just getting the low rolls out of the way.
All right, Nash, how much HP do you have?
30 of 50.
Okay, perfect. Varel, you're up first.
Cool. Well, I am currently use my bonus action to enter my rage, and I am charging Diantalis.
Okay. Do you have I think you don't need to dash. Excuse me. Sorry. You don't need to dash, right? Yeah.
No, I'd end up right next to him with 25 movement.
Okay. All right. You dash forward.
Cool. For this, I would have dropped my sword as I ran,
Okay.
and I'm just coming at him with grappling hands.
Okay. What do you so you're making attacks?
Yes, I'm going to grapple him.
All right, then it's a strength contest between the two of you. I think you can use Dex if you wish, Diantalis.
I got a natural 20 for a total of 24. Slippery little weasel of a man.
All right.
Varel?
I got 25, but
25 versus 24? Well, you
What?
win the contest.
You got me.
isn't it a natural 20 though? Isn't he?
That's for attack rolls. You get critical hits.
Oh,
20 doesn't,
okay.
don't- automatic 20 doesn't mean you necessarily win on a contest. It's got to, especially between two players.
Cool.
Yeah. So you've now grappled. How are you? So his movement. Let's get this right because I don't know where this is leading. Let's see. Where is the grapple? Grapple. So his speed is 0, and his speed is 0. So he can still attack back and do his actions as he's grappled, but he can't move anywhere. Strictly speaking. Okay.
Cool.
So you have him grappled.
Yep. He's
You
standing.
have two attack. You have an extra attack. A grapple is an attack action, so you still have you've used your bonus action into your rage. You've used some of your movement.
Okay, cool. I will use my second attack, and since I sort of ran up behind him as he was about to start dragging Jolt, I just want to slam his head into the barrel in front of me.
Okay, so for an improvised weapon attack.
Correct. A 17.
Okay, and that's enough for your
That
AC.
hits. Yep.
All right, 1d4 plus strength modifier.
8 points of damage.
Okay, that's 8 on Diantalis.
And
All right,
Pharrell
and-
is just
As soon as Diantalis' face hits and he sustains damage, you hear the crack, he winces, and then his body disappears into mist. I'm gonna activate what's it called? It's a feature
Misty Walk, isn't it?
Misty Escape.
Misty Escape.
What's
Whenever,
that?
whenever you take damage, you can use your reaction to turn invisible and teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. You remain invisible until the start of your next turn or until you cast a spell.
Okay, till the start of your... All right, so we don't know where you are.
Uh,
I wouldn't move your dude yet.
no, I'll figure out where I'm gonna be.
Okay. Hope, it's your turn. You see the grapple of Varel. You see him smash his head into the floor, and then you see him disappear. And also, Kristen has disappeared.
Yeah, she Misty.
All right.
She Misty escaped.
So Diantalis, it's now your turn.
All right. So,
if it matters, I am expounding and crying.
It always matters to me.
Spout and crying. You mean like war crying?
Oh no, I have much to say as he disappears and
Gotcha. So you begin filling up the room with the diatribe. Would you like to say those things?
along the lines of tears in my eyes. Your hunger, Diantalis, has doomed us all. There is no greater villain to this group than you, a plague upon Stanley's mind. You have destroyed the last honorable man I have ever met in this world.
Do we want to give Hope her turn, seeing as she's back?
Sure. So while you were away, Varel grappled him, smashed Diantalis' head into the floor, and as a reaction, Diantalis was able to turn invisible. You don't know where he is.
Oh, right. Is Nash still... Is there still grief?
Nash's large, guilt-inducing body is still standing tall above you as the room spins around.
Well, I'm still crying. Nash, I'm so sorry. And I'll try and hug the thing in front of me. I'll look at my monstrous gun arm, and I'll drop it. And then
because Nash is so tall, you're only able to hug his ankle.
I'm so sorry, Nash. I don't know what's come over me. I just wanted to kill Jolt.
It's just the blush. I'm doing it from her tall version.
Okay.
Blush.
This isn't you thinking, it's the blush.
The blush. And I'll start wiping my face and looking at my hands and trying to understand, make the connection that the blush is the dust.
The blush is the dust.
A giant vortex of guilt lasers swirl around behind Nash, and they look like they're forming a spotlight upon you.
Guilt lasers?
Guilt lasers.
I love it.
And then Hope will start getting angry. She doesn't like being... She doesn't like feel guilty for too long. And she'll push Nash away. And start backing up.
All right, you push Nash away and start backing up, and the guilt lasers follow you. You can move your character on the screen if you like. Half movement speed because you are lying prone.
Okay, Hope will quickly dart her eyes around. Does she actually see people?
Well, you see there's a Varel, what you think might be Varel, but he's a lizard with 18 arms. Sort of just googling around, and looks like the arms are moving in such a way that they're forming, like Varel's mouth is closed, but the arms are making like sign language signs, all 18 of them, and you can hear the sign language in your mind. He's saying the things that he's saying about Diantalis ruining the party.
And then Jolt's there right in front of him, correct? On the ground?
Yeah, you see the form of what you recognize as Jolt, sort of swimming in the bricks on the ground.
Okay. seeing this, Hope's gonna make this connection in her mind that the guilt is because she hasn't killed Jolt yet. And when she kills her and then kills Dashington, then it'll all be okay. So she's gonna start walking over to Jolt. And then
Crawling over?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You can get up if you like, but you're prone right now. So you can only move 15.
Crawl over.
All right, you crawl over to Jolt, and Jolt's just in front of you.
And I'll go to grab her neck with my metal arm and then just crush it.
Okay. You go to grab her neck with your metal arm and crush it. Make an attack roll.
Okay. $17.
Okay, roll damage dice.
A 7.
Okay, so as you take your metal arm out and turn it back into the metal hand and grab her neck, you squeeze on it, and instead of crushing her neck, it just sort of functions like a balloon, and her head blows up to a giant size, where you just see this large thing, and then the eyes open up, and it goes... You're a little girl.
No.
Lost.
Shut up!
You have no parents.
Up!
And you're a loser.
You're
and
dead!
it's just laughing and mocking you. All right, I think that's all your actions for the turn. Nash or Diantalis is back to you.
All right. Nothing seems to happen. Bo, if you want me to send you a message of where I went and what I'm doing, I will. But I do not reappear within visual range of anybody. And
if you stay invisible, how long is the duration, I guess? Is
my turn, but they would not be able to see me where I am. So I will become visible
until the start of your next turn or until you cast a spell.
Right.
Okay. So you want to tell me privately where you reappear?
Yeah.
Okay, then do that. As he does that, you hear, Hope! Hope, are you there? Hope.
He's not dead yet? Jeez. That guy.
Oh, someone can't spare the dying on him.
Just freaking die already.
So he gets to die for an extra long time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you hear and see nothing.
Is it still... What's the lighting situation? Well, I guess I'm looking at it. I guess that's good enough. All right.
You hear and see nothing. Nash, it is your turn.
Okay. Don't really actually have much I can do here. I'm gonna rally. All right, remind me his status. What's his deal, or what's her deal? Sorry, not her or him. No, it is Dashington. What's his status? Is he dead?
What's whose status, sorry?
Dashington.
Yeah, he's dead. He sort of has these holes where ghostly blades have pierced him in his face and in his chest, and he's just sort of this like dead corpse.
All right, I just want to make
All these
sure I'm not
holes on him.
running past here to get a weird reaction move from him. So I'm going to move over here and kind of rally behind Varel, and that is my entire turn. Nothing else to do, really.
All right, perfect. And as you move, you hear, Bok Bok begins singing uncontrollably, and he's pointing at things, going, and you just hear Varel. You hear like, there's tasties everywhere, tasties falling, tasties everywhere, and you just see him biting the air as he sings, and he's in some sort of meat heaven, from what you can tell, Varel. He's behaving crazily.
Fantastic.
Varela, is your turn.
Alright, so he disappears, so I slammed his head into the barrel and he disappears. I am going to... Wait, now Nash is in my face?
No,
Is he
I'm
doing
behind.
anything?
I'm behind you. I'm just sort of. I did not go there for any other reason to be behind my friend Varel.
I mean, in this location, I basically slammed Diane Talos into a wall, and then you, like, slid in front of me, like, inching along the barrel to get by.
Yeah, basically, looking as innocent as possible. I probably, as I did it, I probably went, it's fine, Varel, it's fine, everything's fine, I'm Nash, everything's good. This is all a show of support back here. I'm not going there for any other reason. Let the blush focus somewhere else.
I am going to run to the barrel here. I'm going to run into the center of the room and do my aura burst in an area around me.
Okay. It's 20 feet around you or 10 feet?
10 feet.
Okay.
So in a big open area where Diane Talos may have disappeared to, I do my flame burst in the area.
You do your burst in the area and hit no targets.
All right. I will then use my remaining move to head over this barrel, and I'll use my Storm Soul standard action to light it on fire.
Okay. Just by touching it? How do you...
Yeah, I grab hold of it, and the heat of my bursts and all my rage channels through my hands and lights unattended objects on fire.
Okay, so the large barrel in front of you is now on fire.
And I'm just saying, give us back Stanley. We need Stanley, you monster.
You're saying that to the barrel?
Oh, I'm saying if we took wherever I think Diane Talos is.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to put some fire down so we know that there's fire happening now in the room. Starts there. Okay, perfect. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
Continue to talk.
Hope, it is your turn.
All right, do I hear Tedna?
As it's difficult to hear over the sounds of Jolt's balloon head taunting you, but you do hear hope, 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 hope.
Tedna?
And you hear hope, and you see the letters hope sort of swirl past your face as Jolt's face is like, you're going to die. You're going to live a miserable life. And it's singing as she's singing to you.
I'll take the neck and I'll throw the head to the ground and I'll start following the letters.
Okay, the letters lead you to the southwest.
All right, no, I'll stand up by this point.
Okay, half your movement speed to stand up, so it costs you 15 feet of your movement.
Cool.
However, you could use a dash action to also add, get extra speed. You stand up, move your 15 feet, and if you want to dash, you could follow the words all the way to the barrel in the opposite side of the corner, where you see Tedna's body lying on the ground and the hands sort of like trying to lift up. And you hear hope, and the letters are shooting from his mouth and turning into like. And you see Tedna and his chest. One side, he's got his right arm missing, and some of his chest cavities exposed. There's a magical glow sort of holding blood and pieces in, and he's got blood all on his mouth and cheek and down his facial hair, and his eyes are wide with terror. As you approach, I think you can just approach him right next to him if you wish.
Yeah. I'll
There's no diplomacy there. That's the whole. Oh, yeah.
Cool, and
It's
I'll sink down to my knees and put his head in my lap.
Hope. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I just wanted to see you one last time.
And Hope will just cry, holding him. She doesn't have any words.
I just want you to know that I love you.
I hear you.
And to move on without me. You gave me something really special that night at Charlemagne's. And I'll never forget you. And when I go to the Steel Heaven, find me. And with the last bit of energy he was using just to hang on in order to say those last words to you, his body goes limp. And in your pixie blush-induced stupor, he dissolves into an angel and floats up into the sky. And he raises up, and the ceiling raises up, and you see the ceiling opens up into a large assortment of steel buildings. Just like everything's made of steel. Like there's a whole city up in the clouds, and everything's made out of steel. And you see men made of steel, like hammering on pieces of building and cobbling it together, and he floats up, and as he floats up, his body turns into like a gray steel, and his hand is sort of reached out as he raises up as if like to try to bring you up with him, but he can't reach you, and he just takes the levitating elevator up to the Steel Heaven, and you just see this beautiful heaven made completely of steel and cloud above you.
She'll sit there cradling his body and crying for a little bit.
Diantalis, it is your turn.
I'm doing what I sent you.
Okay.
Nothing.
Ash, it is your turn.
All right.
I think we're out of turn order now
Yeah.
for the time being.
If I do an Arcana check, will that help me know if he's even in the room? Can I use that in that regard? To feel the magical mana waves from another magic user?
It's not how Arcana works. Like, to detect invisibility, you'd need the ability to detect invisibility or magic to locate a person or that kind of thing. Arcana is your knowledge of the arcane arts, but it doesn't substitute actual spell use.
And we're not doing turns. I'm trying to remember what everyone did to get me out of my freaking pixie blush stupor back in the day. And I don't think you did anything, I just slept.
I think you burnt down, slaved down, and
Yeah.
drove off.
Yeah.
And slept.
Where's Hope?
Hope walked off to the bottom right, the southeast. She might be in shadow now for you.
Yeah. I'm just gonna move here and just kind of look for her. I can't see her still. I don't know where she is.
Okay, well, it's free action, so it's whatever anyone wants to do.
Well, I'm gonna just remain kind of stunned. I don't know what to think. The place is covered in the dust of my former friend, and I'm pissed at everybody. So I'm just gonna stand there and groove on it.
Hope starts humming a lullaby to herself and then starts slowly walking back toward Jolt's body.
Okay. You walk back towards Jolt's body. It's lying on the ground. Its head is balloon-sized. And it's sort of like laughing at you.
And then she'll go for the neck with both hands this time and then just keep squeezing.
Okay,
Hot
so
tears falling on Jolt's face.
you go for the neck, squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, and the head gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it looms larger than your body. And finally, you give it one last ring. Roll a strength check, please.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Okay. And you twist, and the head just explodes into a giant cloud of viscera, and everything around you is now blood. And you're floating in a world filled with blood. And you're kind of underneath your feet as you sort of go to stand back up. You're on this surfboard made of blood, and you're kind of surfing around these blood waves down a tunnel of blood as you just sort of coasting along the walls, catching sweet nar, and just like surfing down blood halls and feeling exhilaration.
Nice. I'll jump off the surfboard and start bathing in the blood.
All right, you jump off the surfboard, and another surfboard forms underneath your feet as you continue surfing.
I'll try to reach down with my hand and grab some blood and see if I can rub it on my forehead and in my
So
hair.
you lie down prone and put your arms down and put your hands through the oceans of blood, and the blood splashes all on top of you, and you're completely covered in blood. There's blood everywhere as you're surfing down this infinite hallway of blood.
And I'll let the current take me.
And there's the sounds of demonic voices whispering to you as you move down this. For the rest of the party, what you've been seeing Jolt doing is she just crushed Jolt's head into a million pieces. Like, none of that fantastic stuff I described. She's just been crushing it and just repeatedly crushing it in this insane kind of focused way. And now she's lying on top of Jolt's body and just like raspberrying the blood and sort of swimming.
Raspberry. Oh, blowing in it? Ah.
Yeah, she's like,
Oh, gosh.
Amazing.
Never go to Florida, kids. All right, I'm convinced Diantalis is in this corner, so I would have advanced into here, done my flame burst, and continued to light the barrel on fire, assuming he's just around every corner.
okay. So
And
you're
I am-
sort of trying to clear out and figure out where he is, but you do not find him.
And I'm screaming, Stanley, you coward! You abandoned us at every turn. In the attic that day. In the basement of the club. You are a coward. Appear and save the boy. Save Hope.
Am I back yet?
I sent you a message.
Oh, I didn't see it. Hold on. I sent a reply.
Oh. This is fun.
I know, I like all the secret stuff.
Doesn't make for good podcasting, though.
Alright.
Hey, I sent you a Slack message. I sent you a Slack message back. Oh, you
Yeah.
sent me another
Oh,
one
I sent
When are
you
you
a
gonna answer
Slack
my
message.
aim?
back. Quality programming. All right. I sent you one back.
Okay. So while Varel is yelling, Stanley walks into the room. I'm right here, Varel. Do what you're going to do.
Where's he at?
I'd probably be right.
Here. It sounds like E.T. I'll be right. Oh, there you go.
All right, I'd charge him.
Okay. You charge him and do what?
I engage in a grapple.
All right,
I don't
grapple.
fight it.
You grapple him.
Cool. 23 for what it's worth. So just a straight up like scruff grab and by the ass and a flame burst for the 3 points of damage as I just start hauling his ass over to Tedna and just throw him at the feet of Tedna and say, "Do it, you coward!"
So you carrying him over there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, he carries you over to Tedna, throws you down in front, Stanley.
I mean, he's dead, right?
Tedna? By all accounts.
He looks dead. He's dead. The magic is no longer holding his body together. It's all floating out, and he's not moving. Your visual inspection indicates he's dead.
Varel, there's nothing to do. He's gone.
And I just hands forward, grabbing him again and dragging him to the center of the room. And I'm just gonna chuck him so he slides on the dust and save the pixie.
She's gone too, Varel.
This is just a foot grab, and I'll drag him up over to Dashington twice and just kind of spin him around on his back and pick him up and save this man. This man is my friend.
He's gone, Varel. They're all gone.
And there was one villain left, Stanley. And it's in you. In your head. And I will grab him on both sides of his head. And I'm not applying any pressure, but just like holding it firm so he's looking right at me in my eye. You know, can't do both at the same time, so one eye kind of turns sideways. Let him go. Be rid of him.
It's not my choice, Varel. You want to be rid of him, do it. I don't know what would happen, but go ahead.
Stanley,
Do it.
he's tearing us apart.
Do it, Varel.
I'm gonna give one good squeeze. With a 20, not natural.
So, are you doing a squeeze attack?
Yeah, just like the guy in Sin City, just like squeezing that skull. 8 points of damage if it hit.
Okay, then you take 8 points of damage. That puts
Ooh.
you down to by 8. You share a HP resource pool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops, I did that wrong. Hold on. Let me do it right for Diantalis, and then I will get the correct total that I should be at. Oh my gosh. Okay, 5.
All right. You squeeze his head for 8 points of damage. In anger, Stanley sits there and takes it.
Stanley, you coward! Be free of him.
There's one way, Varel. You're doing it. So either finish it or we figure something else out.
And I'll let him go. Hope? Hope!
Hope's raspberrying Jolt's beheaded corpse.
So foul.
He's mad. I'll look at Nash. Nash, are you well?
No, but I might be the only one here that didn't snort a pound of pixie blush up their nose when Pod was killed. So you're all seeing things. She's seeing things. You've seen things.
I go over to Buttons. Does he have Stanley's book still?
Well, he wasn't carrying any supplies. He was more dressed for combat. So no.
Okay.
Part of me wants him to
Well.
kill him.
Nash. We have to get Hope. We have to go. Softhead was here before all of this. There's a good chance other people know we're here and we're in no state to do much of anything.
As if punctuated by what he was saying, you hear a loud bang. Just like a rumble. Not a bang in the room, but like from a distance through wall. You hear a... And then in the distance you hear... You hear gunshots. And then a little thing goes... Is it done? Buttons. Is it done?
Do we recognize the voice?
It's the voice of Monsoon Cabbage coming over the walkie-talkie that was dropped.
Jeez.
I'm getting pretty bad lag from everyone. I'm not sure if everyone's just being quiet or...
I think
No,
we're all thinking.
We're all thinking.
Pretty quiet
Yeah.
right now.
I'm so torn here because
You look around and you see the walkie-talkie covered in pixie blush, but you see it on the ground.
well, I'm the only one of sound mind here for once. I'm gonna go grab it. I'm gonna grab it roughly and put it up to my head. Blow it. I'm gonna blow it off. Maybe not with a fart sound, but more with my breath.
You're gonna blow it off with your fart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna
go.
point at Nash and be like, Nash! Who's answering that call?
It's Monsoon Cabbage, and I'm answering it.
Nash alone answers. Or are we still the heroes we came here to be?
Hold that thought. I grab the phone. Or the radio. I pick it up, I hold it next to my head, hold down the button and go, Cabbage!
Did you say anything else? It's been lagging for me.
Nope,
I
just
heard
cabbage.
Okay.
Just
Nope,
cabbage!
that was it.
And then I let off to see what he responds with.
Well, that can't be a good sign if it's you responding, Nash. I take it my conspirators are slain.
Well, you take it right. Just leave your weenie gun in there, and why don't you come talk to us in person, you coward?
No.
The offer still stands. Bring me the Gem of Tides. And we'll see about arranging a pardon and perhaps even a reward from the principal. But I get to keep hope.
You owe me a pixie.
I owe you a pixie.
You owe me a pixie. This was your doing.
Well, if it's pixies you're looking for, I've sent many more in your direction. Choose from one that you like. And again, as punctuated by, you hear sounds of gunshots. You hear a loud crashing, like just rumbling, very basic, come from above.
Stanley's gonna start gathering items from the bodies, the guns from Jolt, whatever it was that Dashington was carrying.
Okay,
We
so you
have
look at
to
so
move.
Jolt's got 2 6-shooters that she has holstered in her side and a belt, and you immediately detect this as what Ketobel Praith had promised her as her artifact right on her. In addition, Dashington has some weapons, some gold on him, things like that, but he's carrying a sack with a large ball in it. It seems to be like wet on the bottom and very like oily and goopy.
All right, start gathering all of it.
When Stanley gets close to Dashington twice, I'd throw him back and say, "Don't you touch him!"
He is not the honorable man you think he is, Vorel. He's working for the enemy. He just tried to kill us. He just shot Hope. Now look, I'm not proud of a lot of things that I did here today, but I damn well sure know that's an enemy of ours. If you don't want me to touch it, so be it. Gather the stuff, we can figure it out later, but we have to go, or there's gonna be more bodies here.
I'll scoop up the bag and realize the wisdom in his words.
Okay, you scoop out the bag and it's quite heavy for the size of what it appears to be. But you take the sack and you now have it in your hand. Did you pick up the guns for Hope, Stanley?
Yeah, I'm putting them in my bag.
Okay.
Guns,
Pick up
belt,
2 revolvers, and the
anything
belt.
that seems of value.
That's all she has.
Vorel, I don't know if there is any need or want or desire, but if you need to speak to this man yourself, and I gesture towards Dashington, bring the body. Otherwise, let's get going.
You say he's gone. This vessel is empty. We're leaving. And I'll throw the sack over my shoulder since it's a bit heavy and go grab my sword and like, Bok, to your senses. We must go.
He's running his tongue all along the ground and just sort of licking the ground. He's sort of running like bent over with his face on the ground, just like eating things up. He doesn't pay attention to you.
I'll check Tedna as well. See if there's anything sentimental or anything like that I can take from him.
He had nothing on him. Having come just from the prison, he had no items apart from the revolver he snatched from, which is dropped on the ground somewhere, so he doesn't have it right now.
Let's go. We can work this out later, and I'll follow behind Vorel.
Where are we going?
Out. I hate this place. We're
I'm
literally...
gonna grab buttons.
We're breathing in the freaking body of a fallen hero. We have to get out.
I'm taking buttons with me.
Okay, you take what's left of Buttons' corpse.
His
covered in
husky
pieces
little
of
cat body.
Yeah. You pick up the Buttons' corpse, and as you collect the belongings, you again hear gunshots. You hear hold up, And you hear the sound, and again, crash banging from up above. It's getting louder.
Back the way we came, as quick as possible.
Do we perceive they're coming our way?
No, it just sounds like there's the sounds of combat coming from above you.
Okay.
Did someone grab Hope?
I'm still swimming in the blood.
Wait, yeah, we gotta get Hope.
Hope's lying face down.
I'm
All right,
gonna- yeah,
I'll pass Nash my sword,
I'll
or
take-
hold it out for him to hold.
I'll take it.
Cool. I'll go pick up Hope and throw over his shoulder and start walking and grab Bok by the scruff and start dragging everybody out.
All right. So, Hope, what you see through the infinite blood tunnel is a dragon, a great blood dragon, fly through and just grab you and swoop you up on its back, and you're now flying above a sea of blood on a blood dragon.
Kick ass.
Jeez.
I'll
All right.
enjoy
So,
it.
are you guys returning to back downstairs? That kind of deal.
Yeah, I would be heading towards that closet and the false background, and all of us go together, and we can just ride it and feather fall down. We don't even have to worry about climbing.
Okay, perfect. So you go back to the closet. Everyone enters onto the rolly things, and the rolly things sort of push you towards the pit, and you all sort of clamber in there one at a time, then putting all the incapacitated folks on the rolly thing, and giving them all feather fall so that everyone drifts down to the bottom of the shaft. They drift down safely and hit the bottom of the shaft. Now, I want to take a minute here just to is there anything we can do to clear up the call at all? I don't know what's going on.
We could try to
but
set a
it's
new one.
pretty bad.
Everyone's perfect except you. I don't know what's going on. It's a little orange at the moment, but let's all
Yeah,
we can
but-
reestablish it. Let me
Let me just reestablish this, so we'll see if it
yeah,
works better.
I'll restart the whole thing. Let's just give it a shot. All right, hold on. Hang in there, everybody. Re-establishing the call.
Okay, perfect.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, my camera's not. There we go.
All right. So you drift down to the base of the hall, and you've got all your things with you.
It appears that Monsoon Cabbage has summoned forth an army of pixies and is attacking the castle directly. We can assume.
I think that's a safe assumption. Don't think we're in any state to fight, so with a little luck, hopefully we'll be safe here. It might not be a bad idea to see if there's anything we can do to prevent people from coming up through the tunnels we have started to clear out. Don't know if there's anything we can do.
I could create a small barrier of earth, but it's nothing they couldn't eventually dig through. It'll slow them down.
Would at least slow them down. Maybe if you could do it before the vine that leads up. Maybe they would just assume it's a dead end to a cavern and not ever think to check or try to dig through.
I can do that. And I say this with a look on my face of continued struggle of knowing this is Stanley and that it's not Diantalis, but knowing it was the same body and the same face and the same mouth not 10 minutes ago was causing us such grief.
Same mouth that was causing us grief. All right.
But I agree.
So you're gonna go and use your mold earth to seal off the passage behind.
Correct.
Okay, and you have enough time because you can move 5 foot cube per turn. Within about 10-20 minutes, you could seal off the whole passage as if it never existed.
I'll do that. They could still get
So
through
you-
it, but yeah.
Make your way down the hallway into the ritual room, then past the 4 suits of armor, and move into the prisons. Find the passage down. You climb down the vine, get down there, and you start going to work sealing up the cave as if it never existed. Earth shifts and moves and obeys your command as if you're a master of the earth element, and seal off the passage completely.
While he does that, I take Button's body and I prop it up And I sit down in front of it. And I take a deep breath, and I'm going to cast Speak with Dead on Buttons.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Is body in an eligible form? I just need to check. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay, but I need to check it. That's all right.
Must still have a mouth and can't be undead.
Still have a mouth. Okay.
He has
He's
been
grand-
mushed back together. There was a light mushing.
You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to corpse of your choice, allowing it to answer the questions. Corpse will still have a mouth and can't be undead. Well, it still has a mouth, but it's cut in half. Spell fails if the corpse was the target of this spell in the last 10 days. Ask corpse up to 5 questions. The corpse knows only what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, and repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer. If you are hostile to it or recognize you an enemy, the spell doesn't return to the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse can't learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that's happened since it died, and can't speculate about future events. Okay, so you cast as a ritual?
Uh,
It's a ritual spell or new?
no, it's just a 3rd level spell.
All right. You observe as Stanley approaches the corpse, sort of mushing it together, as he says. And then after a time, as you cast the magical incantation, the corpse begins to animate as though it was a puppet. Meow. It starts to move.
I know it doesn't do any good because he can't gain any information, but still, the first thing Stanley says is, "I'm sorry, this is the way it went, friend. It wasn't my intention." The first question, where is my book?
Chamber. It's in the chamber.
What is Monsoon Cabbage's plan?
To take Tiet Kala.
What did he promise you?
Gem of Time.
Where is the Gem of Tides?
Dashington. That's 4.
Yep. What did you give him?
Pact. Gem of Tides for rulership of Tiat Kala. Sad, hurt friend Stanley.
Release the
Loves
magic.
Stan.
Oh,
I
Did this
hate that.
happen? Did I see all this?
You saw this.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
yeah. Pet Cemetery.
I don't like it. Gives me the willies.
The corpse goes limp, falls into 2 pieces, slides on the ground. used.
Congratulations, Varel. I think you have the Gem of Tides. Stanley walks away.
Take it off my back and open the bag and look in it.
As soon as you open it up, a blinding blue light shines into your face and you can't see in it.
And I close it up.
Yeah, you have like sunspots in your eyes for a second. It definitely feels like a large rock of some kind in the bag, but it's shining a bright blue light. And as you try to close it up, like little shafts of light will peer out if you leave any part of it open as it displays on the wall.
Is it done, Nash?
Is what done, Varel?
The closing of the passage.
Oh, yes. I just put my last dirt clod in the corner. We're good.
I suggest we head to the locked door. The office. Use the passageway so no one can find us. And we wait our army in the weir.
Let's go.
Sorry, where did you want to hide, Burrell? I missed that part.
I want to. So we got a key to the door, and then the door itself was locked by other means. So I want to be in the. I want to take everybody through with the double locked doors in front, and then using the passageway underneath the ritual room, head back to the office, seal that up again, and then open the door to the weir in there.
Okay, so we're heading back to the weir.
That's the plan I've suggested.
Yeah.
Hope.
She's still high, right?
Yep.
Yep.
You
she's
just
still
hear
high.
bobbity bobbity boo, bobbity 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 boo, bobbity 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 boo.
Bobbity boo.
She just started shaking her head in agreement.
Yeah, there's these floating mouths hanging around, just going bobbity bobbity boo, bobbity bobbity boo.
She'll try to touch one.
You're touching Varel.
Just keep touching his mouth.
All right, so you want to lock up all the doors and crawl under the ritual room passage to get back to the Bureau of Nobieri, right?
Correct.
And then seal that up, move the cage back on top of it. Okay, so everyone undertakes to do this, except for Hope, who's kind of just hanging around, leaning, sitting, just pointing at things. Bok Bok 2 has been a little rambunctious. He's the whole time been making noise like he walks off in these random directions. You kind of got to pick him up and sit him back down like a toddler.
Before we do this, we save ourselves, we complete the mission, and we doom the entire town to undead slavery.
Varel.
If we don't want to move into the weir, we don't have to. We can certainly rest here and await the army. Fight another day with our strength and our senses returned. I'm in no rush to return back to the weir.
We
In a
have
lot of ways, that feels like where our problems began.
So from what little you've gathered, I think as a party that the Gem of Tides is responsible for, I believe this information was shared, was responsible for turning oil to water, and it's now been removed, meaning that the town is currently without a source of water. Because you have it in your hands.
Well, the castle's under attack by giant Hulk pixies, in my opinion, and Monsoon Cabbage is running amok making an undead army anyway. So I'm not exactly concerned about the thirst of the peasantry.
Okay. I know.
Town-
It was an FYI. It wasn't to influence your decision making in any way.
The town can survive a night while we recover. I don't think it's going to survive a week if we disappear. We come back and it's going to be nothing but enemies as far as the eye can see.
How long was Hope's army to take?
Don't know. We Ask the other tiefling to hurry, but time goes funny as soon as you're there.
We have 3 rations left to share amongst ourselves.
Either way, we have to rest. Hope is useless until this passes.
I can assure that we can rest without any interruption, even should enemies stumble upon us. But if the desire is to return to the Weir, that is an option as well. But right now, they're fighting each other. Take the rest of the day, let them thin each other's numbers, and maybe we can return the gem before too long.
I agree. At the very least, we hide out until Hope has recovered, and then we make a move.
I agree, and we could all use the rest. Long
Okay,
rest.
I believe you guys have. It's been a little bit, but didn't you guys rest really recently?
We had a mini one, short one.
It hasn't been long, but I figure whatever we do, we will spend the day in here. Like, we may not be laying down to go to bed, but we're certainly not going to go out and try to adventure for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
We advance in short rest instances until Hope is coherent.
Yeah, I mean, we can tell you what we do all day, but it's not...
Okay, so you're gonna burn time basically, like till you can get the long rest, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
this is not just like long rest now. But okay, perfect. So you guys set up camp. You guys do whatever activities you want to get up to. Is there anything that you want to do during the time before long rest occurs? Just individual. If there's a book to read, basically, or
At some point during it, Stanley would approach Nash. Nash. I'm sorry about Pod.
So am I. You gotta understand, by this point, Nash is dealing with phantom feet. He just feels her weight there, even though she's not there. It's driving him crazy. He was way more attached to her than he thought he was, and her loss is made even greater by the fact that much of the time I wouldn't even notice she was there, and then be reminded suddenly that she was, and now I'm annoyed that I took her for granted. So I'll say, Stanley, we have to get this beast out of you.
Well, I would be the first one to volunteer, I just don't know how.
You know of no way to remove
Yes,
his
when
influence?
I die, I'm sure something will happen to him. But for all I know, he goes into another one of you. Or he goes into another elf nearby. Or he goes back to a realm beyond and returns even more powerful. I don't know. Even he doesn't know. I know he's not afraid of my death. And that's the part that concerns me. He doesn't want me to die, but it certainly doesn't concern him.
And as far as you know, if we destroyed you, it would destroy him. But there's no way to keep you safe in that scenario. You go with him.
I would die for certain. I don't know what would happen to Diantalis.
I think he knows this.
Of course he does.
The bet he's making is that we'll never take you down. Is he hearing me when I say this right now?
Yes.
Well, hopefully he hears this. I don't know when, I don't know how. But I'll find a way to avenge the death of Pod and all the horrible things he's done. But I won't do it at your expense. I don't know how it'll happen, but Stanley will live. And Diantalis, if you're listening, we will find a way to kill you, to remove you, to end you.
He's listening.
Good. Little piece of shit.
I mean, there might be some way to contain Diantalis. I don't know. It'd be interesting to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, Nash, I know it's a loss. And I'm going to tell you, the thing I'm having the hardest time with is we've been betrayed so many times. And I have tried extremely hard to say we should look for the good, we should believe in other people, we should try to be better, we should try to be the heroes that Varel for some reason wants to call us. And every time, Diantalis is there in my ear telling me what a fool I am. And earlier today, I got proven a fool once again. Now, I mourn the loss of Pod, I mourn the loss of Buttons, I even, for some reason, mourn the loss of Tedna. But he's also not entirely wrong.
Explain.
How different would this have gone if we had dealt with Buttons right away? How different would this have gone if we hadn't adopted every wandering lost cause we find out in the wastes?
Well, you won't find me arguing there. That's where we found the cats, where we found Tedna.
I'm talking about Pod, too.
Yeah, but Pod, this wasn't her.
I know you care about her, Nash, but we spent more time fighting her than the people that were shooting at us.
But that wasn't her. She didn't do it. That's not her idea. She didn't turn herself into that. Pixies don't have an innate monster button they can just push. This was done to her. She could have. They could have
Preaching
just
to
as
the
easy.
choir when it comes to things being done to them against their will, Nash. I understand. But at a certain point, even I have to look in the mirror and decide whether what I'm doing, intentionally or not, is a benefit or a detriment. Now, Diantalis, for all his problems and all my ire towards him, is still trying to help us achieve our goals. That's the only reason I'm here. If I thought you or Hope or Varel were in any danger, I would be gone. You wouldn't see me anymore. I'd rather die out in the waste than put you all at risk. And if Pod felt anything like how I feel right now, I think she would have told you the same.
Well, nothing will bring her back. No magic I'm aware of.
No, but we can do right by her memory, and we can keep your word, and we can set the rest of them free.
Then that's what we'll do. You can't commune with her the way you did with the cat, right?
There's no body.
Well, then we don't have much choice. But I would prefer to see that through. She's obviously not the only one that's been enslaved. Perhaps not the only one that's gigantic and trying to kill in the name of some evil plan. Putting a stop to that not only saves the Pixies, but perhaps saves a greater portion of our mission.
We will deal with Monsoon Cabbage. We don't let him get away with this.
Well, then I'm with you. I can't say I'm with your other half. When he comes around, I kind of want to kill you if you want the truth.
Can't say I fault you, Nash.
All that keeps us from doing it, I think, is that we know you're going to come back out. I don't know. I can't speak for Varel, but I worry.
Well, I don't even know where to start with Varel. Honestly, I'm trying to avoid him.
Well, he is perhaps at his wit's end I assume we're saying this out of earshot of Varel. What I'm
I mean,
doing.
unless he's lurking.
Yeah.
You guys are all in a small room together.
Oh.
Oh, I thought this was while we were going about our day.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, you're going about your day, but you hunkered down in the bureau. Hope is fallen asleep. Varel's just sitting in the corner staring at you. And you
Well, Nash, now that I look around the room, I don't think I'm doing a very good job of avoiding him because he's right there looking at me.
Well,
and you feel a bite on your ankle, Nash, as you do this, and Bok's now bitten your ankle and is now biting it. You take 3 points of damage. as he
you
bites
piece
it.
of little, you a shitty little thing. Varel, call off your freaking rat. He's biting my leg.
He's still very high. But I apologize for my ward, and I'll grab him and pick him up, and I'll go into. I'll go to Hope, and Hope, may I enter your bag?
She's stoned too, Varel.
Yeah, she's asleep.
But what was the damage? Sorry, 4?
3.
3.
Hope, I mean no intrusion, but I'm entering your bag. And I'll dig into her bag, find one of the 3 left spider rations, and give one to Bok.
Okay, and so he contentedly goes, "Ah, thank you, Varel." He starts eating the ration.
And I'll stand up and head over to where these 2 have been powwowing, and I'll crouch down and join them. Your apology was beautiful, Stanley.
Thanks, Pharrell.
Something troubles me greatly. I have built a life out of the scrappings of dead, even animals, and what you did this afternoon calls into question everything I know.
Are you talking about with buttons?
Yes.
It's not exactly as it seems. It's magic, sure, but I don't know. I guess first, what are your concerns?
Was he there? Did Button still exist in that form?
No, it's more like, you know how sometimes after something has passed on, you occasionally strike a nerve and the body twitches. There's movement even after, as it might be called, the soul has moved on. That was essentially a magical twitch. There's no spirit, there's no soul. It's the pulling of knowledge from the remains of what's there.
Like a book that might remain from a past author.
Sure.
It's comforting. I wish to propose a new plan. As I am this group's warden, I feel that we must be aware, be more defensive, and it saddens me greatly to not trust in the spirit of men. I propose we write new rules for ourselves and name them the Pillars of Decency. POD for short.
Oh no!
Soon.
That's so good.
And with these rules, we shall govern our upcoming interactions as we enter new towns and meet new folk. We will never trust again.
Pillars of decency.
Yeah, I'm writing that down.
I feel like this would be a good idea. Keep us all on the straight and narrow. At least on the same path.
We have a great task ahead of us, and it seems that this world is hell-bent on stopping us from doing it in a dare I say, heroic way, we're going to have to be more careful. And I will apologize now for my reckless actions in pursuit of glory.
We have all done things for real that we're not proud of. It's been a trying experience for all of us. That's what I was supposed to even be. I wanted a new start. I wanted to find and create civilization. I thought that would be the answer to all this chaos, and we found it, and it's worse. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I think it's worth pushing through. These are the ideals I left the solar mines for. There had to be a better way. There had to be a better place. And there had to be better people. So if we're not fighting for that, we're fighting for nothing.
I felt like we found it in Dust Hill. A window of it. It wasn't perfect. It was a small place full of rubes and idiots, but they functioned. Nobody was really trying to do anything too awful to one another, except for maybe the Hillmaster. I guess even there you find the problem, but it felt like it was working.
I will gather pens and paper from this desk and await Hope's consciousness.
All right, so she'll need a long rest to recover from the Pixie Blush high, which she's already sleeping. So it'll be a solid 16 hours of sleep, I think, from her. So do you guys just want to proceed with a long rest and move on to the next day from here?
Yeah, I mean, when we get to sleeping time, I will cast Tiny Hut as a ritual.
Explain for everyone how that works.
We're pretty fortified, but a 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if I leave its area. 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with me. The spell fails if its area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome spell can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can extend through the dome or be cast through it. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry, regardless of weather outside. And until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside, any color you choose, but it is transparent from the inside.
Excellent. That sounds pretty amazing.
Too cool.
Wait, so is it cloaked? That's effectively a cloaking thing, so anyone else would see it and they wouldn't see anything. We could only see
No,
out of
they
it.
would just see the glow of the dome.
Okay.
But we would be able to see if people were gathering outside.
All right.
No, the dome is opaque from the outside, but on the inside it's transparent. So you can see
Right.
out like a window, but they see it like a wall.
Yeah.
They can't see in. It's like an interrogation room in a cop show.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. Well, you cast Tiny Hut, and everyone either makes their way in or is carried in, depending on their level of incapacitated. And 8 hours goes by. Now, so you can recover. You can long rest, recover your sheets. Stanley, I didn't know if you want to give the items to Hope at all.
Yeah, once she's up and got her faculties back about her.
All right. So maybe as soon as Hope, you open your eyes finally after a long rest, and you feel disoriented and hungover, Stanley comes up to you and drops a pair of revolvers and a belt on top of you.
Hope?
Hope will just look up, very hungover looking.
I'm not entirely sure how much of yesterday you remember, but you did it. And to the victor go the spoils.
Gonna look down at the revolvers and start messing with them.
All right.
Thanks.
You start messing with them, you notice immediately that they are very clean and black looking, and they have a demonic presence to them. You can begin investigating these items. This was the item that Kitobelprice said that he had promised you finally in your hands. He said Jolt was carrying. On your inventory screen, you should now have the revolvers named Fox and Scully added to your inventory, and Smokey's ammunition belt, along with several different types of ammunition that the belt can produce for you.
Cool.
They're quite long, but I will read the background on them for everyone. On Fox, he's one of a pair of legendary Kincaid and Hodgins 50 caliber revolvers that belong to a famous Earth general from an ancient time before the Scorching. The revolver is made with undiluted Dragonheart metals that is black obsidian. While the metal of the ancient gun looks as if it was freshly made, it has a brown leather cowhide grip that is extremely worn and abrasive. There are small and worn gold flares along the barrel and ammo cylinder. There's a switchblade embedded in the grip that can be used to make melee attacks. Now, the abilities on this guy is that it's magically balanced, so it has perfect weight distribution, allowing for steady, reliable aim even in hectic situations. Making a ranged or melee attack with Fox adds +2 to attack rolls. It's made with Dragonheart metals, so it does not warm when it's fired, and the gun remains cold no matter how much it is fired. The metals magically absorb recoil and do not require cleaning and does not jam. There's a hidden switchblade, which we talked about, and then each Fox and Scully has its own ability. So for Fox, it's the truth is out there. The Dragonheart metals emit a small amount of mana wave radiation, allowing an attuned wielder to gain true sight up to a range of 120 feet until your next turn after scoring a critical hit on a creature.
Oh.
Scoring multiple critical hits don't do anything. So if you score a critical hit, you gain true sight to the start of your next turn. To the end or to the start? I think that depends on True Sight. True Sight's a spell, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Scully it's the same thing for Scully, except her special ability is Cautious Skepticism. And the Dragonheart metals emit a small amount of mana wave radiation, allowing an attuned wielder to cast True Strike as a bonus action when scoring a critical hit. So it's going to matter which gun you score a critical hit with. You'll gain the benefit of the gun that you score a crit with. The spell must be cast on the target hit. I believe it confers disadvantage. You'd have to look up how True Strike works.
Okay.
The wielder with multiple attacks may cast a spell multiple times per turn, but only the most recent and most powerful version of the effect will remain on the target cast. I believe True Strike gives you advantage on attack rolls against the target, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and then Smokey's ammunition belt. That's a belt you can wear. It does not wear and tear. It has a quiet resilience. It's a tremendously well-worn cowhide belt. Was said to belong to a famous Earth general before the ancient time, before the Scorching. The belt has 2 holsters made for a pistol or revolver, a pouch containing ammunition, and a few other clips to hang tools and pouches from, and a hidden button just on top of the buckle. So the pouch is called a Devil's Pocket. It contains 12 of Smokey's ammunition. The type and caliber of the ammunition depends on what you wish. So all you have to do is think about the type of ammunition you want, and it'll appear in your hand. The choices are explosive shells, which you've seen in action, obsidian nails, puckle rounds, radiant darts, rock salt shells, spider tears, tasing bullets, and Zerdalium shells. Now, I'm not going to go through all the effects. It's going to be up to you to study it, but Zerdalium shells in particular form warps in the fabric of reality that cause people to be sucked into a 10-foot radius. And if you can somehow figure out how to shoot 10 of them in the same spot within 2 seconds, which is very hard to do, you can form a sphere of annihilation.
Oh my god.
All right. The other thing on the belt is a thing called Smokey's Requiem. There's a hidden button on top of the belt, on top of the buckle of the belt. When activated, you can cast Fog Cloud on yourself. Basically, it's a ninja, like you can shoot out a burst of cloud around you. And during combat, the belt's work can prepare up to 6 bullets from any type and load them during combat for the cost of 1 action. So at most, you can get 12 bullets out of it per day. and it resets at dawn. So you can't get infinite bullets out of this. Yeah, there you go. You now have. So we have two of the three artifacts promised by Cthulhu one being Nash's dragon metal heart, the second being your dragon metal guns and belt, and the last being a secret object for Stanley.
Oh my god.
They'll sound amazing.
I'm so excited.
The truth is out there. And so that should, if you refresh your character sheet, you should see them all in there. You probably have to do a bit of managing, but
Got him.
your list is becoming quite long because you have 5 pieces of.
I have so many guns.
By the way, during that encounter, it also come to your attention that they were eavesdropping on you, right? And that's how they came to know all the information on the radio. It occurs to all of you at that point that no one's done an investigation to find out what the source of that is yet.
Oh,
And they're
crap.
likely
that's
still
right.
being eavesdropped upon.
All right. We should probably take out that radio.
Okay.
Hope, I believe you have the radio that we're
Oh,
probably broadcasting with.
I'll look through my bag and I don't have it anymore. I don't. Where'd it go?
Wait, who does have it?
I mean, I yelled on it. It's not the same one I yelled at to.
You had the walkie-talkie. You were
Oh,
thinking
oh,
well,
right.
you have the walkie-talkie still,
Yeah.
but the walkie-talkie.
Oh, I thought that was the radio. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, no.
sorry.
The short. I think John's referring to the shortwave radio. that we
Okay,
found.
yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll look through my pack, pull it out, and hand it over.
You hand it to Stanley. Wait, haven't you switched over to Diantalis?
No, Diantalis did not take over this morning.
Oh, is it because you don't sleep anymore?
No, it is because Diantalis saw Varel come after him, and he's won a victory for the moment. So he's more than happy to let,
Diantalis is scared like a bitch.
he's more than happy to let Stanley run things for a while.
All right. Okay, so you have the shortwave radio in your hand, Stanley.
Have we gone to sleep yet? Not yet, right?
No, this would be the next morning, technically.
Oh, it
This
is
the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah, you can long rest yourself.
All right.
Does anybody want to say anything to anyone who might be eavesdropping before we destroy this thing?
I'm gonna take my kingdom back, and you're all dead.
Jeez.
Monsoon Cabbage, consider this a declining of your offer. You're next. Next time, send better.
You're talking to the radio?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're hearing it. I don't care.
So you have a knowledge of radios because they exist in this day and age somewhat on cars and things like that. Radio, you can't transmit your voice over.
Well, how are they hearing us?
Oh yeah, yeah. How are they eavesdropping?
So you want to make a roll? All right, let's use a knowledge check. Pick a knowledge. History, engineering.
We'll do history. It's 11.
So your sense is that things that are broadcast over radio, like if you has music in it, might require a cassette tape. Something a recording's on, but for live radio broadcast, it would require a broadcasting device of some kind. Shortwave radio would be the receiving device. So you could use the radio to perhaps locate it by moving it close to a mic and producing feedback to figure out where the microphone is.
Oh.
Oh,
So we should just destroy it.
I
no.
need to find the microphone.
We need to find the microphone.
Hey, we're all podcasters here. We know how this works, right?
Yeah.
No, clearly not. Have you ever
I'm a
seen us try to
tiefling, thank
troubleshoot
you.
audio issues? No. Okay, well then I guess that cool thing, none of that happens. I'll start moving. I'll turn on the radio and
Mm-hmm.
start
And
moving
you're-
it
you're-
around.
Like
All right.
Silent Hill
So
style.
you realize you're going to have to turn the dial and find something,
All right, we'll start doing that.
You just hear, and then you stop at a point where it gets quiet.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, I'm gonna start moving
All right,
the
I'm gonna
radio
start
around.
moving the
I'm
radio
not
around.
saying this, Bo. This
I'm not
is
saying
me.
this, Bo. This is me. Sorry.
I will pick up. It pains me greatly, but I'll pick up Mawstorm. Say, have you betrayed me?
Have you betrayed me?
To the to Mawstorm, you're talking to him?
I'll take the radio over to the sword and hold it up.
Okay, you hold it up and you don't hear any feedback or any sense that it's closer.
All right, I'll take it over to Nash.
Nash arose.
Hold it over by him.
I'll open up I'll hold the cloak out and go
You hear Nash
check it.
robes.
Check it.
Check it. Check it.
Check it. Check it. You can check my
Check it.
ball.
Check it.
You can
You
check
check
my
my balls.
You can check my ball, my magic ball.
You can check my ball, my magic ball.
What else did we get? Oh, I take it over by Hope's arm and leg.
I hope I'll stand up.
As you move it towards Hope and go near her leg, you hear feedback as it gets closer. And there's something you've detected from her leg, possibly.
Jeez.
I'll start looking through my leg to see if there's something that doesn't quite look right.
An engineering skill check, please.
Is that wisdom?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for
17.
repair. Okay, so you begin lifting up parts and pieces, unscrewing things just with your thumb, looking open and feeling around with your fingers, see if you can't find anything, and then you sort of scoop out something, like a little device. It's circular, looks like it has a grid on it, and you're familiar with mechanics. It doesn't look like it's used for any purpose in your leg, and you have it in your sort of two fingers as you hold it up, and you go to speak closer to it, and you hear the voice louder in the radio, and you found the mic.
I'll crush it in my metal
Okay.
hand.
You crush it, and the radio goes to.
We already said our piece. I'm assuming at this point.
Yeah.
What we said happened, but it may have taken a few more minutes.
You know,
Yeah, there was a little awkwardness after. It sounded really cool, and then instead of ending, there was a lot of. Now, hold on, let's try this.
I can't believe we
So
were
it would
bugged,
seem
man.
it would seem that the bug was planted in there since you had surgery done to you, Hope,
Yeah.
Since or at the time?
at the time of likely.
Great.
I'll do one more pass through the radio, just make sure it doesn't pick up anything else.
You do okay. Investigation check, please.
Uh, 10.
Spend a considerable amount of time checking radio stations, checking locations, and in your estimation, you're clean, and no one's eavesdropping on you now, or Monsoon isn't eavesdropping on you now.
Well, it's a fair guess that Monsoon knows what our plan is. Do we stick with it, or do we proceed? Or change it, I should say.
Well, it seems like a good opportunity to throw him for a loop. But I am no tactician.
He knows we have the Stone of Tides, Gem of Tides, and he knows we're still around, though probably not 100% sure where. He knows he can get here by the tunnels. He knows we were planning to come back up today.
I guess the big question is, was he invited in? If he wasn't, he can't get in this place. Unless he's got someone else.
Now, the owner of the keep currently would be the Suckmaster Din, the
We
ruler
have to
of
kill
this place.
him. Yeah.
Well, right now we are a third party to two warring factions. On one end, we have Monsoon Cabbage and the Principal. On the other, We have the Suckmaster and his gang. And now, when we left things last night, they were fighting each other. We don't know what the status of that is going to be. But I certainly like our odds fighting two opposing factions than one unified one. Although it does effectively double our enemies for the moment.
What's the easiest way for us to surveil the damage? To see what came of that fight?
We can sneak back up, take a look, see what we can find out. I don't believe we said anything too specific about how to get in here. So, maybe for once we are the ones who do the betraying. We could always try to align ourselves with one faction, wipe out the other, and then when we get our army, finish off the second. It's not exactly the most honorable method, but I also am not excited about the four of us facing two armies.
When will our army be here?
We don't
We
know.
don't know.
Hope you have no idea.
No.
You're not hearing any magic whispers or any kind of weird dark energy telling you what's going on about it?
I mean, I'm not hearing whispers anymore. There were a lot last night, though.
What were they telling you?
Just the usual. Hope will kind of go quiet. Tiefling secret.
I like the plan. Varel, how does that sit with you? It is a little, as he said, dishonorable.
I don't like the idea of any alliance anymore. Even one that we mean to betray ourselves.
We can certainly oppose both. Take advantage of the confusion. But I also think we need at least some idea of what's happened up there. For all we know, we walk up there and find a keep full of ravaging giant pixies stomping around the place.
And Softhead got away, which means he's probably told somebody.
Well, we could do a little recon and I could send... Oh. Never mind. I look down sullenly.
We've all lost people, Nash. It's okay.
I know. I think I might have loved her. Not in a romantic way, but I don't know if this makes any sense, but like a father, like a parent or a guardian. She's as close as I've ever had to anyone who depended on me. And I failed her. But
Yeah, she didn't fail anybody.
I won't
No one knew that was going to happen.
I won't fail her people, though. And you know, it's nice kind of knowing, as weird as this sounds, there's a little bit of her in all of us now.
There's a tender moment, and then you said that thing.
Because you breathed her in, see?
Yes!
Okay, alright.
Strangely, that doesn't make me feel any better, Nash.
There's a little bit of pod in all of us. Well, then I don't see any reason why we don't go with Stanley's plan. And first things first, we need to know what's going on up there.
Well, we know how to get up to the dungeons. And we know through the crypt that will lead to another part of the fortress.
Could
Crypt was to lead to the gem, yes?
Yeah.
Which we would need to put back. Because if people die out there, Monsoon could raise an army of undead.
Right
mean, he
now,
could
they're
anyway.
only a few hours without water, but who knows how much longer they're going to last.
your tiefling friend, what did he say of Monsoon's betrayed lover?
She's not a tiefling anymore. She's a Medusa.
Is that our wild party? Is that the third faction?
Apparently, she's a monster now.
A monster who might want revenge on Monsoon Cabbage.
She might.
Well, if we're going to go up against a Medusa, at least from the lore that has been spoken, we may want to prepare ourselves in that regard. I would recommend taking something reflective with us. I
I've got you
gesture towards
covered.
The mirror.
Yeah, I got mirrors. I got mirror patches. Maybe we don't bust them out until we're there, but yeah, I've got patches for mirrors on this fancy cloak of mine. Where the hell
Well,
is
should
it?
that be our next step then? We sneak back up and we head for the crypts.
Yes.
Yes, I'm done facing two-faced monsters. Let's ally with a real monster this time.
Burrell will find lemon tree up there.
I believe so. Perhaps some Georges as well.
As he says that, I kind of softly squish the doll that belongs to George's daughter in my pocket.
Ew.
Well, I'm just squeezing it. Not like molesting it.
I know, it's just creepy still.
That's a good reminder. I got to get that to her. That's a thing. In fact, Stanley and I kind of have a pact. We have to go do that at some point. From
If she
earlier.
lives without the water.
All right, so what would you like to do, party? Have you conferred and made a decision?
To
Yeah.
crypts.
To the
We're going to
crypts.
the crypts.
Okay, very good. So you pick up your belongings, all the things that you need to dispel the tiny hut, and make your way into the hallway. And rather than go to the chute that leads up into the prison, you decide instead to turn to the left and open up the secret doorway in the middle of the hall. I believe Nobieri showed it to you, right?
Yeah, he told us
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So you open it up, and the cave walls part, or not the cave walls, but the stone walls part, exposing another cavernous area. What is the march order for everyone? It's only single file.
Alright, I'll be in front.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be behind Pharrell.
Stanley.
I'll tuck in behind him, unless you'd prefer to. Hope.
No, I can take the back.
Okay.
Then I'd assume Bok Bok would be on my heels.
Yeah, Bokbok's near you. All right, so you move forward through the hallway. It extends for about 50 or 60 feet as you move through not a large, but a narrow but old passage. And then you make your way to an end, and you see, thanks to your light stone, that the end looks like there's a large, rather than be cavern faced, it's like a stone slab in front of you that you can see. It just ends there.
Is this another false wall?
Can we push it?
And I'll place a hand on it and push.
Place a hand on it and push, and you're able to very slowly, it's quite heavy, move the slab. And as you move the slab, you peer out into the room, and you see there's a large room with walls covered with what do you call them? Where people put bodies in? Tombs, I suppose.
Oh, a mausoleum.
Covered.
Yeah, mausoleum.
Kind of got that feel to it, yeah. It's a large cavernous area, and as you peer out, you see it's a large mausoleum with tombs, and you also see a large statue of a tiefling in the center of the room. Sort of 1 foot on a skull, and the other foot behind, looking fiercely beyond.
Oh, nice. Is there any writing anywhere at the base of the statue?
Can't make out too much more detail from the crack in the slab that you've pushed out.
Oh, okay. Can it open anymore?
Once we're inside, what's the plan?
We fight whatever shows up and we move on.
And if it is the tiefling woman, we strike our deal with the Medusa. All right, I'll slide open the slot.
You open up the slab completely, and then you walk out into the crypt area, and you see that there are tombs all along both walls. And it's a large room. The ceiling's maybe even 60 feet up. It's just large space. It's covered wall to wall with the tombs. And you realize that what you've walked out of was underneath a statue itself. You sort of turn around and see another tiefling standing up there in a suit of armor. It's a stone carved statue, and the base of it is kind of the secret passage entrance that you've opened up. And as you look down the hallway, you see it travels for hundreds of feet down. It's quiet in this area. There's no torchlight. There's nothing lighting the place. It's quiet. You don't see any assailants in this room.
Cool. Before we go too deep, I want to roll a perception to see if I notice any traps or trap-like objects.
Okay. You want to look around for traps?
Yeah, 23.
Okay. Well, you take a look around, peering with your dark vision, and you're in the 60 feet range where you are. From what you can see, you don't see anything that jumps out to you as a trap or a mechanism for a trap.
Seems safe.
I mean, we don't know for sure that this creature guards the crypts. We know the crypts lead to the sewer, which led to the throne, which led to the gem, I believe.
That's what my mirror said.
If Dashington was able to make it to the gem, perhaps he had another route, but we should proceed cautiously. But it may be a while before we run into anything.
All right. Are there any bodies in the room that don't appear to be part of the tumoury, like a dead guard or a body out of its slot?
No, there's nothing that appears to be opened or left unsettled
Okay.
or disturbed.
All right, then I'll start walking us forward into the main chamber.
So you guys walk looking on either side and seeing all the names. Hope you observe many of the house names that you've seen from the book that you read. Mentions of Poxus, mentions of Nobi Ares, and all the different names we discussed. You don't see any Akmenos, though. But as you walk by the statue of the great tiefling in front with his head on the skull, you see that it is a tribute indeed to Ronald Akmenos, king and founder of Tiet Kala, father of all. And you know, you sort of take that in as it's, according to Nobieri, your depiction of your ancestor. And it's hard to tell what he might have been like in life in terms of size, because the statue is maybe 20 or 30 feet tall and it's large, but he's wearing a suit of armor and has a sword like sheathed on the side and is sort of looking with a hand out like this over at the horizon in kind of an exploratory pose, but with a skull underfoot, so still kind of this element of conqueror to it. You move along the hallway, taking this all in. You see that there are 3 or 4 more statues from various different houses of people that have been tributed in this way. And as you approach, you see that there's an exit that forms into a cavernous passage beyond.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So as you near the cavernous exit, you notice that to the right, the cavern forms into stone and brick again, with a stairwell leading upwards. It's a large, wide staircase, maybe 20 or 30 feet wide. Looks formal and looks kept. And then to the left, you notice that it's a more cavernous direction, and you can actually see from the ceiling pipes leading from the ceiling and running down that particular cavern. And from that direction, you kind of hear the running of machinery and engineering, something running down that end, like perhaps there's some kind of machine room down that way.
We should put the gem back.
Put the gem back and stage a ambush. Someone will come to address it, surely.
There's always a chance.
Something I've been considering as we've moved through here as well is we certainly have the patch plan for if we encounter some creature that can turn us to stone, but didn't they indicate that that was one of the better ways to deal with the vampires? If possible, wouldn't it be a fitting end to Monsoon Cabbage? I believe he hasn't, he's been alive as long as he has because I'm sure he's quite powerful. Maybe the best way to defeat him is to imprison him in stone.
I like that idea.
Yes, fitting.
If we can't form an alliance, didn't they say something about removing the head? I think that's true. I'm having a hard time remembering what we were told.
All you got back from your teammates is,
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there.
Yes, let's make it.
I wasn't there for your vampire orgy thing, so I didn't hear.
vampire. What about the Twilight books,
When
dude?
was the
Aren't you the
vampire
expert?
orgy?
Well, no. Look, I had Twilight, and they didn't talk about heads getting severed. It was all about sparkly daytime vampires, shitty stuff like that.
Which direction do you choose?
Well, we chose the pipe direction then.
Okay, so you begin. Everyone makes their way left and begins walking down this cavernous area, and you see that steps are actually sort of these steel steps that are graded. It becomes like a very industrial kind of area with pipes overflowing. And you enter into this machine room, and it becomes very loud, where it's hard to hear each other. You see large pumps on either side, and water being presumably moved throughout it. You hear like a dum 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 dum. This large machinery as you make your way through. Bok Bok doesn't like it. He sort of puts his hands up to his ears and he's like, ah! Doesn't care for the sound very much. So there's this is steel catwalk that you can walk across that takes you over pipes. It seems to descend and move into another room that you can't see, but it descends from stairs. So do you want to continue or?
I think we keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do a little spying though.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no. I'm looking for traps or bodies of any kind.
Okay.
A 1.
Well, you see nothing. It's about as safe as you've ever seen. It's about as safe as you've ever seen a human settlement be.
Excellent.
And you make your way quietly down the stairs and into a little passage that has these open doors. And as you see the room, you see that it opens into a large, grand, circular room. And you see the shapes of figures in there, but unmoving. These silhouettes of people sort of standing.
Are they set up in positions, or are they sort of all like?
They're standing like in different places throughout the room. They don't appear to move at all. One of them you see from the back kind of looks like that, as these statues are sort of all still as you approach. Or people.
Yeah,
I've revealed it. You see statues.
Yeah, I'll convey the information back to the group that there are figures of stone in defensive positions.
I will roll a repair to see if the machinery is leading toward in that room where we can assume the Gem of Tides would need to be placed.
Okay.
10.
All right, so you take a look at your surroundings and surmise that indeed there are pipes, mainly running through the walls, but you can see where they'd be leading to, likely to that room. But you do see pipes overhead too, along the ceiling, run into that room.
Okay, cool. I'll just Yep, nod my head. Confirmation.
Okay, so we're proceeding then.
Yeah.
Yep, I got
And the
the
party-
gem on my back and sword in the other hand.
All right. As you step into this room, you see that it's actually this large sort of circular room. It looks to be like a throne room. Around it, there's sort of these raised floorings around the side, and you see towards the end stairs that lead up. But instead of the top of the sea, a large bath, a large pool, and above it, there's this dais that is empty that would appear to hold something atop it. And from the top, you see a large plexiglass tube of oil there, but it appears that there's a shaft at the top. Not a shaft, but a valve at the top that's been closed off. So there's just, you just hear like a whoop, 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 whoop of water as it kind of drips in various places, but there's a pool in the center. And all around this area where the throne is raised, where the pool is, you see statues of stone tieflings. Some of them raising their hands like this in terror, others shielding themselves this way, in various forms of frozen terror, as if they were caught in their moment, just as they realized they were about to die or be exploded in some form of extinction, perhaps turned to the very stone that they are, given the tale that you've heard from Monsoon. There are hundreds of them, presumably all his vampire brethren, now turned to stone in this chamber.
If I go up to one with its, is there one with its mouth open?
Sure.
And can you look in the mouth and can you see sharpened teeth?
You see sharpened teeth.
Okay. Well, shall we go up and put it in? One of us, all of us?
This would be the creature's den, by my assumption.
Still, it seems very strange how it seemed to hit all of them at once. It's odd to me. You know, you would think that if it was a creature skulking around, catching the gaze of people, they wouldn't all be focused at one central location, necessarily. I mean, maybe they were all watching something when it happened, but still, something seems odd to me.
As you say something seems odd, the doors behind you close. You hear clink, 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 clink. And then from behind the pool, you see a silhouette in the darkest shadow. With your dark vision, you actually see it much more clearly. A woman walks gingerly forward, nude but for a cloth covering just where her breasts are and down to her. It's like this sort of like very revealing, barely clothed woman, green, gray flecked skin, and her hair the silhouette of her hair appears to be dancing. And as she walks into illumination, you know she has a pair of aviators on.
Sweet. I am not looking at her.
Walks into the center of the room and she says, "I see we have guests. It's time for a chat." And that's where we'll end it for today.
Yeah!
Aviator Medusa lady.
I love it.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
That's a cool look.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna be a problem. Well, whatever. We'll see you next week.
Well, I guess that's her version of the rap, so she's being peaceful right now.
Yeah.
She just got sick aviators on instead.
Yeah, I don't mind saying that. We'll clear it up we'll clear it up next week. But yeah, the aviators would keep her from turning people to stone as long as she
Yeah.
was wearing it.
Sweet.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the other way, that we couldn't, like somehow maybe that blocked
No,
her from her reflection or
She
something.
can see, but it would like absorb the magical eye energy of her turning people to stone.
Until she
Cyclops!
gets like,
It's
yeah,
like Cyclops!
But then she does like a flirtatious thing where she's like,
Oh,
and
Oh,
then,
no.
That's why she's half
Did
naked,
it
so you're
again.
not even looking at her
Yeah.
eyes.
That's right. That's
the
exactly
Wasteland's
right.
Teddy.
Oh, I'm very excited. All right, cool. Never fought a Medusa before in any context, so this
And
will
we
be-
may not!
Yeah, we may not. Who
Yeah,
knows?
we might be friends with a Medusa.
Yeah, maybe she'll be the best friend we ever had.
Join
well,
the
there's,
army.
there's only one way for you, dear viewer and listener, to find out, and that is to tune in to next week's There Will Be Dungeons, Saturday, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, right here at frogpants.tv. All the details, podcast links, old video links, everything to YouTube, all that stuff is at therewillbedungeons.com. And send us messages. We'd love to read them on the show. That's going to do it for us. For me, for Bo, for John, for Kyle, for Kristen. We'll see you next time. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Yeah. Good job.
What a game.